Joe Reinagel.
The San Antonio Spurs win their first ever NBA championship.
Jason Minix.
Oh, he stole one. He had no business scoring that touchdown, except he's C.D. Lamb.
The Dallas dynasty is real.
It's the Blitz on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
It is the Blitz here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM. He is Joe Reinagel. I'm Jason Minix. Glad to have you along on a Friday afternoon. Last night, I'm scrolling Twitter and I see a tweet and I thought, man, I need to know more about this. Paul Feinbaum actually tweeted out, what's your best college football tailgating story? And former Aggie Cullen Gillespia quote tweeted it and says, as a walk-on that was not going to play, nor was on the field for warm-ups, I tailgated the 2015 A&M Alabama game at Kyle Field. 20 minutes before kickoff, I sprinted from fraternity tailgates to the locker room, suited up, and ran out of the tunnel and cheered for my team. And I thought, there's got to be so much more to this story. I need to know more about this story because this is Aggie legendary status that might deserve a statue. Let's get the rest of the story. Cullen Gillespia joining us now here on the Blitz. Cullen, I know it's a Friday. It's the middle of the NFL season. You're on IR right now with the Seattle Seahawks, so that does allow you to tell the rest of this story, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, it was. I was having fun in college. That's what I can say about that.
Well, I mean, so what is the tailgate with the fraternities involved? And what were you guys doing? I mean, we can kind of think of that.
In other words, how sober were you when you ran out onto the field?
Were you running in a straight line or not?
You know, I think I'd rather leave that one up to y'all's imagination. You know, I've taken a lot of hits since then, played in a lot of games. I was having a good time with my buddies, and I knew that I wasn't going to be on the field playing. So I thought the way it works is generally when you're a walk-on or when you're not playing, when you're on the travel squad, you don't go to the team hotel the night before the game. I'm not sure if people are familiar with it, but the night before the game, the team goes and stays in a hotel, and then generally the practice squad guys who performed well that week get to show up at game time, get to run out of the tunnel and, you know, stay on the sideline and cheer on the team. So I was one of those guys that week. I performed well in practice, and but it was Alabama weekend.
Yeah.
My best buddies went to Alabama, so they were in town. So, I mean, what was I supposed to do? Go sit at the stadium for 3 hours while they had fun? Absolutely not. I had to go join them.
That was a hell of a game, too, by the way.
Yeah, we a hell of a game for Alabama.
Yeah.
It didn't exactly go our way, but I'll tell you what, I was cheering hard out there on the sideline.
Colin, take us through, because I mean, you know, I got a friend named Lump. He's got season ticket holder, and his tailgates are legendary over there. And I think everybody has about 1.5 gallons of Fireball before they even get into the stadium. So I can only imagine what your tailgating situation was like over there. But you know, you're supposed to be, or you qualified to be on the field and dressed for that game. Was anybody looking for you? Did anybody notice you weren't there until it was time to go out onto the field?
Maybe, but that's not necessarily the case. I think the coaches are really focused on the day. It was pretty common for the guys who weren't playing, like myself, to go hang out in the players' lounge and shoot pool or watch college football or play Xbox in the pregame because you weren't on the field for warm-ups. You weren't really part of anything aside from running out of the tunnel and then trying to bring the energy on the sideline. So, like I said, went over to fraternity tailgates. I'm pretty similar to your buddy's tailgate. You know, went and hung out. It's, you know, the entire Texas A&M Greek life in one area. And, talked to some ladies. You know, had a good time. I was actually talking to my dad about it today because he had seen the tweet, and I'd stopped by my parents' house on my way down here to San Antonio. But he goes, I can still remember it as clear as day. He goes, we were walking into the stadium, and all of a sudden we saw you run right through the bushes with your cleats in your hand. I had forgot about that. I had a plastic black bag with my cleats in them because I had I don't recall the reason why I had my cleats, but I literally had the cleats in my hand and was carrying him around the tailgate with me, and then ran through the bushes, saw my dad on the way into the stadium, said what's up, and he was like, well, what the heck just happened? You know, you're supposed to be playing the game. I'm like, well, I'm just running out of the tunnel. My buddies are playing pool. I'll be all right.
That is a very unique story, Cullen. I think that's cool, and I'm glad you were, that you responded to Paul Feinbaum. I mean, that's pretty ballsy of you, isn't it?
Yeah, I just thought it was time to get that story out there.
I'm trying to think which football, college, varsity blues, Friday Night Lights kind of where you could see this happening. And now I know you've got your shoes at the tailgate. Is that to help with the ladies that, you're going to, hey, I'm going to be on the field here in a little bit. I've got to have my uniform here ready to go?
Absolutely. If you think that I didn't plan on having those cleats, you might be wrong. Like I said, I'm on IR right now, and I got ACL surgery, and I got out of the brace a couple weeks ago, and I'm like, what am I doing? The brace and the crutches were the best thing for me. It's a perfect crutch, quite literally, to talking to people, or more specifically women.
Some people use a puppy. You're using crutches.
Yeah, I'm using my knee brace and some crutches. I don't really see the difference, if you ask me.
So, Cullen, when you will you watch the Seahawks this weekend? And I mean, are they still with an opportunity to get into the postseason? Is that something you'll take in?
Absolutely. I'm headed to shout out my buddy Matthew Grimes. I'm headed down to his ranch right now. Actually, about to hop on 35 South. But I will be up early Sunday morning. Hopefully, get a morning hunt in, and then I will be flying back to Houston to go watch it with my family. We got to win, and then hopefully we can take care of business, and then the Lions can take care of business Sunday night against the Packers.
And you think about this NFL season. I know we were messaging earlier. I was like, why are you here? Because I didn't realize on IR that you could go anywhere you wanted to do that. And, my wife is from Seattle. She's a big Seahawks fan, and so we were up there for the Arizona game there, and Tariq Woolen is just having an incredible year out of UTSA. What's it like when you see a draft pick like Tariq, who didn't go as high as he thought? I think about, like for you to go out there and then end up with a solid career. I mean, you were a walk-on at A&M, drafted by the Texans, now with the Seahawks, still living your dream.
Absolutely. I actually had the privilege of sitting next to Tariq in meetings, and he is just an incredible human being. One of the most guys with the most contagious energy I've ever been around. He's just happy all the time. He loves ball. He loves talking about it. Really, I can't say enough good things about the guy. And I actually played with Coach Traylor's son, so I've got a little UTSA connection, and one of my best buddies from Houston went to UTSA as well. So we try to watch the games. So I had watched him a little bit in college, but it sure is. It's been an honor, one, to get to be friends with the guy, but to get to watch his, career. I think he made the Pro Bowl this year. Mm-hmm. Blossom. Really, really is a great human being, and is playing his tail off this year.
All right, I got to go back to the tailgate story, because you said you had some chats there during the tailgate, then you had to go to the game. Did it pay off for you after the game?
Again, I think that's another one of those things that we can leave up to your imagination. Whether I found some people that I talked to at the tailgate after the game or not, I think that's up to viewer discretion.
It was the Alabama game in 2015. Did you score more than the Aggies did against that Nick Saban defense?
Who's to say? Who's to say, really?
I'm guessing that it was probably pretty damn close.
Yeah, I had a great time. It was a great weekend. Spent it with my buddies. That's about as much information I can offer you on that one.
Cullen Gillespia joining us here on the Blitz. Incredible story from tailgating back in his A&M days. And I tell you what, there's something about things that resonate with Aggie. So my buddy Chip Ingram, who owns a bar here in San Antonio called the Rue Pub, which is, by the way, where we're going to be doing our show Monday before the national championship game. He says on a text right now, my staff does this daily, running in with their shoes right before it's time to start to work. He is going to start calling that the Cullen when they run in for work, holding their shoes, trying to get ready in time for their shift. And by the way, you could probably drink there anytime you want.
Absolutely.
You know, maybe I'll do a little detour on my way back to Houston and maybe watch the Seahawks game there on Sunday.
Dude, I mean, not to turn this into a commercial, but it's the best place to watch a game in San Antonio.
No question.
Most of the time when you're in there, you run into a guy named Nate Askew. So, I mean, you know, it's a good kind of place.
I got you. I can't imagine that'd be a bad time.
It would not be. Cullen, man, love the story. Saw the tweet. Had to get the rest of the story on that, man. Have fun this weekend. Good luck in your recovery from that injury you're dealing with right now.
I appreciate it, guys.